Hey everyone. Today, survival kits. Philosophically, look at a survival kit like it's a first aid kit. It's something that you actually don't want to ever have to use. You want to know all the components, know how to use them all. You want to make sure you've designed the components, but you don't want to ever have to use them. You want to take them with you on every journey and every excursion with the hope that they're just along for the ride. That's the way I look at a survival kit. What I want to do to go through survival kits is actually take a look at some of the off-the-counter, as they say, survival kits that you can buy. Some by other companies and including my own, which I'll also critique. My book, on the other hand, goes through survival kits in sort of painstaking detail. Yep, that's a plug for the book. But it really does walk through the survival kit, all of its contents, the philosophies, everything in quite a good bit of detail. First thing I'll do is pull apart this kit here and start basically critiquing the items that are inside it. This is called the Pocket Survival Kit. Okay, great. Let's take a look at what's inside. This kit here is probably not too bad. Looking at it really quickly, probably not too bad of a kit. But I'll start with some of the negatives. Here we've got a little pill bottle sort of size thing full of some safety pins, a needle. I'll put these here, needle, safety pins, and some fishing gear, all in this little kit. Small little problem here in that this little pill bottle is its weight. You don't need this heavy plastic for keeping these items. They could have been fine in a little tiny Ziploc. All right, safety pins. Essential? No. Helpful? Yes. I've carried safety pins and needle and thread with me for many, many years. And I think in 20 years, I think I used the needle and thread once to fix up a little pack. Sure, I agree the needle might be good for getting out slivers, and it certainly doesn't weigh very much. And that's the thing that's going to happen here. How much do you want to carry? If we're trying to stay slim and trim, then we have to prioritize the different items. And for me, the needle and thread and the safety pins are not as strong a priority. I'm not saying don't carry them. I'm saying if we're looking to slim down, that's one area that I don't feel is as much a priority. This little fishing apparatus here, which looks like a couple of very, very tiny hooks. Sure, okay. Are you going fishing? Are you anywhere near fishing? Is it feasible at all that you might be fishing where you're going? If so, then a little fishing kit definitely you want to have in your survival kit. If not, then you would take that out. Next thing we've got is some tin foil. Great for some sort of cooking. Keeping some heat around something. Not a bad idea. Opens up fairly large. Makes for a signal device at the same time. This is not something I would normally include, but as an extra, it's nice to have for sure. Micro-cut sterile blade. I'm going to say no. The reason I'm going to say no is because this kind of micro-cut sterile blade should be part of your first aid kit. Maybe I'll just go there right now. You will not find a first aid kit in my survival kits. You won't find any items along that line, that genre, first aid. The reason is, first aid is serious. You should invest in your own first aid kit. It's separate from your survival kit. Same philosophy, but a separate kit. You should know everything that's in it, and of course, I've said this many times, you need to take courses in first aid so you can treat yourself and treat others if you're out in the middle of the wilderness. So, for me, first aid stuff doesn't belong in a survival kit, but you should have a first aid kit. Whistle. Looks like it's Fox 40. And great. What do we got here? Magnifying glass. Why? To light a fire? To look at your cut a little more? I mean, this one looks kind of pathetic anyway. I say pathetic and no and not needed, and I've never used one. Okay, a little sparker. Inadequate one. I know these fire starting little bits of tinder? Yes. Some rope, some string? No. Oh, not rope, not string? Absolutely rope and string, but not this crappy little thin stuff. Inadequate. And what we've got here is a signal mirror, one of the kinds that you can look through. Okay? And you can do the whole thing where you aim through your fingers to aim it up. And this is a nice, solid, durable one. That is a yes. Duct tape, yes. I'm going to say Okay, I'll give them a little bonus on this one. I'll say yes to this one. I want to say inadequate because it's not very much. I would prefer more than this, but I'll put it over here, give them a little passing on that. This is the little Ziploc pouch. A waste. This is your little liquid-filled compass. Looking for the word. I hate these little compasses. I've always seen them break. I've always seen them not work. No, too wimpy. What we got here? Some wire, little tiny bit of wire. What for? Oh, I know you can think of a lot of uses, those of you guys who are good at survival, but this little tiny bit, yeah, I could put it either over here in inadequate, or I could say a no. I'm going to say a no, and more on that reason later as well when I get to my own kit. And what do we have here? The needle and thread thing. Again, I'm a no on the needle and thread. We got a little tiny little pencil. Good call, yeah. I like that, and I'm going to put that over here with a yes. So out of that entire kit, I've got 6 items that I would say, okay, these could go in my survival kit, and I would be pleased. Again, the duct tape's a little inadequate. All right, let's go to this next one. I don't know who this character is, but let's take a look at his survival kit. Let me get into this survival kit properly here. Survival kit number 2, off the shelf. 16 items, and it was called the Ultimate Survival Kit. So this is meant to be the ultimate survival kit. All right, let's find out how ultimate it is. It's all in a nice little Ziploc bag. Okay, that's good. Ziploc bag can hold water. If this seam is the type that will hold water properly and not break while you're carrying it, then great idea, that's good. The wire, might make a nice little friendship ring. Pathetic and a waste of my time. The string, same thing, too small, not enough, not strong, and a waste of space. Survival saws. I have used these on many, many occasions, and they're useless. Yeah, a little flimsy, but all right, flashlight. Little flashlight. I'll put that over here in the wind pile. Needle and thread. Again, my opinion, not a super necessary thing. I'll put them over in the unnecessary pile. And the fishing gear looks, we'll call it medium adequate. Better than the last kit. Thread, nice idea. Nice and strong, I guess. But again, there's so many ways to improvise, but we'll put this over here in unnecessary. So here's one that I'm always extremely critical of. You've got this little multi-tool. You won't find a multi-tool in my survival kit. For that matter, you won't find a knife either. The reason why I don't bother putting this in a survival kit is because the level of quality that you'd have to maintain with this little guy to maintain the prices that these smaller kits sell for versus mine, which is a lot more expensive, is not good at all. And what you should have is your own solid, real multi-tool. Camillus and I sell a nice multi-tool that I designed. If you don't like that, fine, but just have a good, solid multi-tool on your belt. And this is where I gotta point out, there are, well, I guess this is the first chance to point it out, there are things that are not in my survival kit that are in other survival kits, or that should be in other survival kits, but they're part of survival. And multi-tool is the first start on that. I'll get to the same point with the knife. You want a knife? Get yourself a really good, proper, solid knife, a real knife that you put on your belt, not one that you find inside some little kit. So this guy, I'm going to say no, because instead of wasting your time with a small little multi-tool that takes up space and costs extra money and all that sort of stuff for this survival kit, but still has to be cheap enough to fit into the price point. We all know this is about price point. Not in my case, though, but we know that. I say no. Nice. High quality whistle. Don't know what brand it is, but works for me. Multicolored thread and button. Yeah, no. Signal mirror. Let's just check the quality on it. It's rigid. I like that. Got the hole. You can look through it. Mirror is a pass. Okay, so these matches. We get into all these different funky ways to make matches. And we have these ones, which I think are pretty cool. I've got no problems with these, but I also like just a normal, regular, everyday match. I mean, even that one, you see how quickly it's down to the bottom? Honestly, I just prefer a regular wooden match over these funky ones we keep getting in all the survival kits. That said, I'll give the matches a pass. We'll put them in the kit there. Let's go to the striker. It's a little small, but I've seen a lot worse. I'm going to put this striker, I'm going to give it a slightly inadequate. It's not bad, I could pass it, but I'm going to give it a slightly inadequate over there. And we've got some cotton batten. Really, that just serves as fire starter for the striker there. But not very much cotton batten as it is. I'm going to call this a fail because really, like the other kit I already went through, you should have some form of solid tinder that really catches and hold the flame. And cotton batten goes up very quick. You have to be really good at all your other tinders, and they have to be dry. If all you have to put a fire, get a fire going, is this little tiny ball of cotton in that one striker in this ultimate survival kit. So fail on the fire starting. And then lastly, we've got, almost lastly, we've got one of these guys. You've all seen it, called a space blanket. I just want to check something out. Yeah, so it's that kind, right? These kinds rip far too easily. If you're going to have a space blanket, make it the kind that is a non-rip, that I can't do that to so easily, and that is more solid. These are cheap and small and light and all that, but they are not as good as the type that will not rip. So I'm going to put this over here in the fail pile. And then we get some instructions. Okay. Open the instructions. Let's see what we can learn to do with these instructions. Yeah, as I thought. I don't know what to say other than I've never seen these before, so I'm just looking at them now. What you get here, so you're out in the pouring rain, your buddy's broken his leg, you've dumped your canoe, you've lost all your gear, but you got the little survival kit, this little guy here that's just in your pouch, and you pull it out, and let's see if we can get some instruction on how to survive. And what I see is basically the usual really lame pictures of a fire bow, a fire saw, a car battery, the signal fire. I mean, these are also incredibly ridiculously basic that they will not lead you into the proper action you need to take for survival. So, you know, there you go. What's good in this? There's a couple of things that work out okay. I think the signal, showing how to use the signal mirror is a good one. But a lot of these other things, you don't waste the person's space with the fire bow and the fire saw and the car battery. Are you kidding me? You know how hard it is to get a fire going with a fire bow? It takes a long time and a lot of practice to make that work. And to have a little picture of someone holding it is not helpful. I've always been very down on these little bits of information that come in all the various kits that tell you nothing really. And the pouch to hold it all is just this nice little funky sort of hiking-like thing. I'm pulling a full fail on that. And then we got this little guy here, which is not really, I'll fail on that. I'm going to be harsh on one element, and it's something that we did with my kit that you have to understand. When I put my kit out, I actually had to, fight and cajole and argue with the company because realistically, a company has to manufacture things and get them out to you, and there's a price point to meet, and when things become expensive, people get upset because they're not going to sell very well. But there was one aspect of my survival kit, actually there were several, but we started with one, and that was there was no way that the survival kit that I'm suggesting is not going to come in a solid, full container that you can boil water in. And these two kits and this next kit, no container. And to me, that's vital. And the way I used to start off with was I used to get a coffee can with the plastic lid. Perfect. That's a great, you can carry water in it because of the plastic lid. You can carry items in it because of the plastic lid, or you can boil water in it. It's a phenomenal way to carry your survival gear. So all of my equipment used to be in a coffee can. All right, let's go to this last one here because there is a point I want to make. So this is called the Micro Survival Series Kit, Compact Lightweight Survival Tools Survival Kit. So this is called a survival kit, and it says this small, lightweight, extremely portable kit contains the essential tools
to keep you safe on your next adventure. All right, essential tools. I can't cut into this table or I'm going to get in big trouble. Look, you have to understand, I'm sure some of you are going to tweet me or, I don't know, Snapchat me or Facebook post me or whatever, and they're going to say, why were you so hard on those kits? I bought one of those and I used it with my son and all that sort of stuff. Because these are called survival kits. These are not weekend play kits. That's not what these are supposed to be about. Unless they say, you know, play survival. And some of this stuff, that's what it's for. It's for play survival. But if you're going to actually survive in a dangerous situation, you need a real kit. And that's why I'm speaking with a kind of a smart sort of tone. I'm not even going to bother wasting my time getting that compass out of there. It's the same as the other compass. It's one of those little guys that are useless. So let me follow that up. If you're going to have a compass, have a real solid compass. A proper, full, expensive compass that you get at a proper outfitting store. That's what you want to have. So here we go. We've got 3 items right now. A multi-tool, a belt knife, and a compass. 3 items that I do not think should ever be in a survival kit. They should be part of your body, part of your system as you go out there. And these are items that you need to spend some money on and get high quality. All right, here we go. Whistle. Pass. That makes it. What the heck? Striker. Not bad at all. So I think actually, only because I found using this was so much easier than using that other kits, that I'm going to give this striker a pass for these guys. The mirror, nice and solid, nice little hole in it, all of that gets a pass. I know these particular fire starters, and these are good. So again, instead of flimsy little cotton, that's really important. That gets a pass. Here's the one thing I wanted to get to with this. So here we are. There's your knife. A pointless waste of space in your pocket. Have a real knife, a solid knife. So that gets a complete fail. And it gets to me, things like the knives and the multi-tools that are inside these personal survival kits, I'm harsh on them and they get a real fail because those are very important items. All right, and we've got a Ziploc bag. Ooh, nice one actually. All right, get the pass on the Ziploc bag. Finally, someone does. And then contents list and instructions. They lamely show you how to do the sparker, how to blow into a whistle, and that's about it. Lastly, I'm going to go right to my kit, but before I do, there's also these guys. And you know what? These are a nice little invention that have come along. You can't have all of this stuff in it, but you can have matches, fish hooks, different things that will fit into this. Can be pretty nice. And you know, of course, as you all know, that they make them for going around your wrist as well. And the bonus, the advantage is, it comes with some good, solid parachute cord, real rope. Comes with it once you open it all up. So it's a bit of a drag to open these things up in a hurry, but they're great as they are. And the reason why I like them is they can hang from your belt, hang from your neck, be in your pocket, be around your wrist. And so I like these little guys. So out of that last kit actually, surprisingly, because I guess I'm surprised because I think the fire starter's decent enough. It still is lacking. I could put it over in the inadequate pile. I will say that the addition of this fuel was really a good touch. So it just squeaks it by. Whistle's fine, but you've basically got a mirror, a whistle, a little bag, and the fire starting. So the rest of the stuff, in my opinion, was inadequate or garbage. All right, so let's put that stuff aside and let's try to be a little harsh on myself. Now, I've got 2 survival kits. One is for the individual person, and the other one is for the group. And that's important because the way I look at it, everybody should have their own individual kit. Okay, that belongs to Les. Don't touch it, that's mine. But this one, if you're a group of 6 or 8, just goes in the pack somewhere and is there. Now, there are more items in this than you'll get in here. There's 25 items in this group kit and only 16, and I'll show them in a second. Okay, let's take a look at mine now. All right. By the way, I make no claim that this is any kind of ultimate kit and the only thing you'll need. All right, to start with, We now have a bag that we can carry things in and holes at the top. Let's say we're collecting clams or anything like that. So that was one thing I liked about this, was that you've got a bag for carrying that's fairly substantial. This, by the way, does not weigh any more than the largest of those 3 kits that I just was going through. So if you think, yeah, but look how heavy it is. And there it is. This is what I love the most. A pot you can boil water in. And an important note from Les Stroud. The truth about the Survivorman survival kit is that I don't want you to use them. In fact, my preference is that you examine all of the contents, put them back inside, or, and here's a key lesson, carry them in your pockets. Hang them around your neck, hang them off your belt, wear them on your wrist, put them in your hat, put them in the end of your fishing rod, put them in the end of your bike handlebars. This is a key point for me in survival kits. In fact, in a personal kit like this, for the most part, I should almost be able to empty this kit onto my body at the beginning of my trip. Things must go in all the different pockets everywhere. And the reasoning for that should be fairly obvious. I can lose this. I can leave it behind at a portage trail. I won't lose my pockets. All right, for starters, I've put in the type of, we nickname them space blankets, that you cannot rip, cannot tear, so it's much more solid that way. These things are very good in a survival kit. I like having them in a kit because they don't work very well just on their own, but use them as part of a tent covering or a roof, waterproofing for a roof. Use them as part of a blanket with other materials, and they tend to work very well. On their own, they're okay, but in conjunction with what else you've got going on out there, they're great. Here's my survival mirror. I wouldn't have accepted this until I went out and practiced with it and used it and realized it actually works really well. So it's a bendable, so I can move the reflection around. It's got the hole. I can angle through my fingers. I can look up at the plane. I can do all those things, and yet it's nice and light and doesn't take up a lot of weight. These other ones, I do like them. I like the solidness of them, but they do take up weight and space. This accomplishes the same task with the same efficiency, taking up much less weight and much less space. All right. There's my instructions, so I'll get to them a bit. Here we go. Fire starting. These are my favorite tinders of all. It's the little waxy things, wax and cotton, I guess is what it is. That's my favorite tinders of all. Okay. Flashlight. It's already ready to go. I prefer, in this case, that you have your own proper flashlight on you. And of course, the headlamps are fantastic because then your hand's free. So you're out there, you should have a proper, expensive, yes, high quality headlamp. For my survival kit, I did throw this in. It's a nice little emergency flashlight. That's all it is. I went with the thin thread, but not the thin rope like that's in these other kits, but parachute cord, a certain weight of parachute cord. The parachute cord is the strongest stuff. That's what I like the best, my personal preference anyway. And I've gone in the personal kit with a thinner weight so that I can get a longer string, because in the end, I'm not trying to carry up something super heavy with this or tie up a canoe. Not sure what I might have to do with this. Maybe I'm strapping a blade to a pole or something like that, and I've got longer cordage now as a result. Also in mine, candle. It's not going to keep you warm, but it's phenomenal fire starting. And let me point something out. I'm going to put this over here in the fire starting pile. Pay attention to that. Here's my compass. And my good friends at Camillus know and will not mind that I say my preference is you can use this compass. It's going to work. It's much more solid than these little baby compasses that I see all over the place and stuck on knives and things like that. It's much more solid. It's got everything going on for it in terms of needing to travel with it. I've used these and they do work. But if I had my preference, I'll put that in the inadequate pile because I'd rather you buy, as I said, a high quality, larger compass and keep that. That's what you should be using. Mine's in there, but now you know the truth of it. All right. Bandana. And let's do this. What can we put in our pockets? Okay. That rope can go in my pocket. Oh, for f***'s sakes. Start again with that. All right, here's a question. What can I put in my pockets? This is key. Well, I know the fire starting can go in my pockets. The rope can go in my pockets. The mirror can go in my pocket. The little flashlight can go in my pocket. Now, I've got enough pockets, a side pocket. I can put my space blanket can go slide down in my pocket. This is an orange bandana. Yeah, I wear a bandana just to save my head from sunburn and all the rest when I'm out there, but the fact of the matter is, a bandana, oh, sorry, this is an orange bandana. This is an orange garbage bag. Let's stick with the bandana first. All right. The bandana, where do I carry it? Where do I put it? Hang it from my belt. Bandanas are actually extremely useful in a survival situation. All kinds of uses, whether it's first aid or signaling or tying or filtering water. So bandana, that goes around my belt. Here I've got my large orange garbage bag, always an orange bag, signaling, a roof, water collection, clothing, you name it. And this also can now go in one of my side pockets. I got my whistle. That goes maybe around my neck. Okay, what else have I got here? Ziploc bags. Like the Ziploc bags because carrying water, carrying tinder, keeping tinder dry while you're traveling. 32 wooden matches. I think I gave a pass on these matches, but there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 of them. 32 matches. And standard normal matches in a striker kit and in a waterproof container. Matches can go in my pocket. Well, keep them in the Ziploc, keep them dry. Here's my fishing kit for the single personal survival kit. All right? We've got line, we've got floaters, we've got hooks of all sizes, we've got leaders, we've got sinkers, we've got bait, and again, nice and light. And this too could slip down in another little pocket. So just shove everything in my pockets here. Here's my fire starter, much more substantial. And not only do I have the striking end, but also this bar is made of magnesium, which I can scrape off and get a fire going. And so my fire starting right now is this very substantial striker, candle, and the wax tinder. That is much more solid than any of the fire abilities I've seen out here so far. They missed the point somewhere along the line. And lastly, a bar of food. I wanted the food bar to be in there. Now, really, if you're putting your own kit together, then go out and get your favorite food bar. I like these. And so this is a very high energy bar. It's probably 350 calories, I'm not sure. The big point of this is that the psychological advantage of being lost and having nothing but having one single power bar is huge. 2-3 bites a day and you feel better. So I wanted that to be in my kit. So again, I can either slip, let's say, what's the biggest and bulkiest? Maybe these two guys can go back into the kit while it travels. Okay, fine. But this stuff here needs to go in my pockets. And it's nothing. Once I put those in my pockets, I won't even notice them. There's still lots of room for my belt knife, my multi-tool, my compass. It's the right system. All right, so there we have it. And lastly, I've got my survival tips here. Did I put a nice picture of a little shelter on here and say, here, build this shelter? No, I didn't, because I don't know where you're going to get lost. Did I put a fire bow down there? No, because I'm not there to teach you fire bow, and it takes some doing. Trust me. So I approached the survival instruction on this from, what do you do first? What can we do next? What's realistic? And basically, it's asking yourself a lot of questions. And with all those answers, you can make your move and decide what to do next. So that is my personal survival kit. And it's a lot more expensive than everybody else's. But there's a reason for that. You've got to have quality in here. And don't get my kit. Go to my book and get the list. Go out and make your own kit. That's the best way to do it. You don't have the time, then good. I've put this together with Camillus, and I'm very proud of it because for me, after years of doing this, it has in it the things that I always realistically do take with me, and how I take them with me I've just explained to you. On the last bit here, just in case you're wondering, I can show what's in this group kit. If you don't care, then you can go down the YouTube rabbit hole, maybe go watch some funny cat clips or something like that. But if you do want to know what's in the group kit, first of all, much more solid container. It's obvious for boiling water or carrying coals on a journey to travel fire with me. Okay, I'll go through this real quick. Like the small kit, we have the bandana. We have, it's the same things as the small kit, plus, plus, plus. We have the garbage bag. The rope here is very long and much more substantial parachute cord. I've got the whistle, I've got the instructions, the fire starter. In this kit is where I put the duct tape, and much more duct tape than you see in a lot of kits. In this kit, I also put flagging tape. Phenomenal for not getting lost or marking your trail where you've gone off to, and so that people can find you or so you can find your way back. So a substantial amount of flagging tape. Bug netting for your head. And 1 million people, perhaps mostly women, I'm not sure, watching this went, yeah, because you know if you're lost and you're out there, it's probably going to be buggy. So a bug net is actually a great thing in the group kit. There's the compass, and in this case, much more in the way of fire starting. I've got fire starting pellets, fire starting wax, tinder. Got the flashlight, the signal mirror. And this time I have book and pencil. Ziploc bags, more. The fishing kit, same as before. The 32 matches, the power bar, and the other additional thing is the water purification tablets, and oh look, safety pins. A survival kit is there to help you survive. That's no joke. Take it out, practice with it, know it, use the items, put them back in, carry them in your pockets, whatever. But for me, a survival kit is like a first aid kit. You don't ever want to have to use it. But if you do have to use it, you don't want flimsy. You don't want inadequate. You want to survive.